Hi, I'm Great Tiger, and welcome back to my continuing series where we are creating a custom progress bar for use in Warhammer 2. In the previous episode, we looked at saving and loading custom data. Today, we're going to shift our focus away from scripting to look at adding effects to units. There will be a little bit of scripting at the very end just to trigger our effect, but that will be it. So the first thing we need to do is open up our custom progress bar tutorial pack file, which I have open here. And we're going to create the database entries and some localization text entries. So the first thing we want to do is select our custom progress bar tutorial pack entry in the tree and right click and say create and create folder. And we want to create a folder called DB. Okay, and then we select that folder we've just created and we're going to say create DB. So this will create a table based on the schema that we define here. So the first table that we want to create is effects bundle. And I've done something wrong there, and that should just be effect bundle, not effects. Okay, effect bundle tables, and we need to give it the name of this database table, and we'll use the prefix custom progress bar, so CPB underscore and then data. So that'll create the effect bundles tables. Okay. And then we need to add one entry into this table. So our entry for this table, we need to define a few things. The first thing we want to define is the key. So we'll use the same naming convention, CPB, and we'll call this Great Swords bonus, as what we're going to be doing is giving the Great Swords some extra melee attack. So that's our key. We don't need to worry about localized title or localized description because we're going to be using localization files for that. Now for the UI icon, so this is the icon that's displayed in the toolbar at the top of the screen, and we will just take one from the data pack. So if I open up data pack and we go to one of the effect bundle entries that are already there. Where are we? Here. Excuse me. And we'll take the Hunter effect icon, which is used by the Hunts Marshal, I believe, and we'll paste that in. And we can leave the bundle target as faction, and the priority is 1, and the global effect is true. So that will give us the effect bundle that we need. Excuse me. And then secondly, we need to create the actual effect. So once again, we go to the DB folder and create DB, and we'll give it the same naming convention, CPB underscore data. And then this one is effects table. Now there are a few that have that string in it. So we just need to search in the list for the right one, which is here, and we create that there. So in here we want, once again, just the single entry. So the first thing we want is the key of our effect, which we will put as CPB underscore. Now this is going to affect the Great Swords, so Great Swords melee attack. Okay, for the icon, we're going to use one of the existing icons, which is called melee.png, and we use that for the icon negative as well. We then set the priority to 1. We change the campaign so that it's going to change category from campaign to battle, as this will affect the unit during battle. And that's what we need for our effects table. Now, generally, if you're doing everything on the database side, you would also then create an entry in the effect bundle to effects junctions table. But we're going to be activating our effect from script, so we don't actually need to do that. Though the next table we do need to add is a unit set. So once again, select DB and right click and create DB, and we call that CPB data, and we're looking for unit sets. Unit sets, and we may have to scroll, there we go. Okay, so we create that record, and in unit sets we just have one record. Excuse me. So we're going to call this one CPB Great Swords, and then we can leave the other fields as they are, no need to change them. Now the next table that we need is create DB is the unit set to unit junctions. So once again we'll give it the same name, CPB data, and we want unit set to unit, and there we go, unit junctions. That's the one we want, so we create, and when we select that, in here we will have one row, and we select our unit set that we just created a moment ago. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Which is CP, and then it's selected it for us. The unit record. Now this will be WH for Warhammer 1, then underscore main underscore EMP for Empire, underscore INF for infantry, and then underscore GR, and then we get great swords. So that's the unit that will be attached to this unit set, and we do not need to worry about caste or category or class, and we don't want to exclude. So that's 4 of our 5 tables that we need done. So the last one that we need is the effect bonus value IDs unit sets table. So it's quite a mouthful. Effect bonus value IDs unit sets, and then we'll just give it the same name, CPB data. We'll create that, and then in here we have one record, and we select our effect, which thankfully is up the top. Okay, now the bonus value that we want for this is going to be melee attack. So we need to add in melee underscore attack underscore mod. And then we choose the unit set that this will apply to, and that will be the unit set that we created, CPB, and then great swords. So the effect that we've created will use this mod function in the background to apply melee attack to these great swords. So those are the 5 database tables that we need, but now we also need some text localization tables. So to do that, we're going to select the top level item again, and we're going to right click and say create, and we want to create another folder, and this folder is going to be called text. And then on that text folder we select that and right click and say create another folder, and this folder is called DB. Okay, and then we select that DB folder, right click, create, but this time we say create LOC, so that's for localization file. And the localization file we want to create is going to be CPB underscore effect. Sorry about that, that's a noisy car outside. So we're going to create the localization file CPB underscore effect bundles, and then .loc. So we select that, and we'll have 2 entries in here. And the first entry, let's just make that a tooltip. So the first entry is a predefined string that you have to use, and it's effect bundles localized title. That's the first one, and then you do an underscore. So this predefined string indicates that this record will change the title for the effect bundle that you add as the second part of the key. So what we want as the second part of the key is our effect bundle, which we created. So we go back to our effect bundles table and copy the key and put it into the localization key at the end after the underscore. So then for the text, for the title, I'll just move that a bit. For the title, we'll just have Great Swords bonus. Nothing fancy. Okay, so there's a second entry that we need in here, and that's for the description. So we'll just clone and append, because we only need to change one thing inside the key, and that's we change the word title to the word description. And then we add in our new description, and we'll just say this will add, let's say, 5 melee attack to great swords. And there we go. And those are the two entries that we need for the effect bundle. We also need an entry for the actual effect. So we go to our TextDB, and once again we create and then create LOC, and this one is called CPB underscore and then effects and then .loc, and this one has one entry, and the key is made up of a predefined string, which is effects description and then underscore, and it's also the key of our effect. So we'll go to our effect table and select that and copy it, and then return back to our localization table and paste that in at the end after the underscore. We'll make sure that's set as a tooltip, and then we'll give it some text. So this is for melee attack, so we'll go melee attack, and then you need to tell it the format that we're going to use. So we're just going to use the standard format, which is %+n. So when this text is read from the localization file, it will be combined with whatever the value is for this effect. Okay, so we have our localization file, we have our database files. The next thing we need to do is a small modification to our script. Okay, so here we are in our script file, and what we want to do is we want to activate our effect bundle and effect when the game starts. So to do that, we're going to use a function which we'll call one of the campaign manager's methods. Well, a few of the campaign manager's methods, actually. So let's just call this, for the moment, because this will only be here for this episode, apply effect to great swords. Okay, so what do we want to do inside this function? Well, the first thing we want to do is remove the effect bundle. But what effect bundle? Well, we give it the key of the effect bundle we have created. So if we go down here and here and go to the key, which is this CPB Great Swords bonus. So that's our key. Next thing we do is we create a reference to our effect bundle object, which we do using campaign managers create new custom effect bundle method, and we pass that the key, which we just copied from the database. So the effect bundle is equal to cm create new custom effect bundle. and passing in the key. So now that we've got that reference to an effect bundle, what we want to do is call a method on there, which is add effect. Now this takes 3 parameters, like so. Now the first parameter is the key of the effect we want to add. So once again, we'll go back to our pack file, go to our effects table, and grab our key, and then paste it in the first argument. Now the second argument is, what is the scope? Well, we're going to define that as faction to force own. So this will apply, this is telling it will apply to an army and all armies in the faction. The last part is, what is the value? So in our case, how much melee attack do we want to add for the effect? Well, our description says 5, so we'll set that to 5. So the next part you need to get a reference to the faction. Now, this is the actual faction object and not just the name. So that we use CM, which is Campaign Manager, get faction, and we actually give it the name, which in our case is M local faction name. Now with that reference, we can use that reference when we try to apply the effect bundle. So we go CM apply custom effect bundle to faction, apply custom effect bundle to faction, and then we need to give this 2 arguments. The first one is the effect bundle reference, which we created above, and the second one is the reference to the faction, which we just created in the line above. And it's very important you don't give it the name of the faction. If you do, it won't throw an error, but the value won't be applied, which can be a little bit confusing. So you need to make sure it's an actual faction object. So once we've got that apply custom effect bundle added, then that should be it for that method. We then just need to call that method, and we'll do that inside our initialization by here. So then we can save this and then select all and copy, and we go to our pack file and go to our script and select all and delete, and then paste in the new one, and then we'll save that pack file. Make sure it's saved to the Steam Apps Common Warhammer 2 data directory, and then we can go into Warhammer. So you want to make sure that in your mod manager that the progress bar tutorial is actually activated. So I'm pretty certain it is in my case, but we'll just open it up to double check anyway. And for me, it's going to be right down the bottom, or close to the bottom. There we go. Custom progress bar tutorial pack is enabled. Excellent. So we'll play and we'll go into the game, and when the game starts, you just start a new campaign as Balthazar Gelt, and hopefully we should see our effect bundle applied. Okay, so here we are in game with Balthazar Gelt, and we can see in the toolbar at the top that we have a new icon, and this has the Greatswords bonus title from the localization file, as also has the description, and we can see that we're adding 5 melee attack, all armies. So if we select the army of Balthazar Gelt,
Let us begin.
and then look at our Greatsword unit, we can see that something has been added to melee attack, so it's now at a value of 37. If we want to see what the default was, we can right click on the unit, and that'll show us the value from the encyclopedia, and the standard value is 32. So we can see that our 5 melee attack is being added correctly, and the effect bundle is showing up the top. And that's all we have for today. That's all there is to it. So we have created an effect bundle. We have created an effect to go with that effect bundle. And we have tied it to a unit set so we can define what unit will be affected. And we have then activated that on the first turn. Now, that is part of what I generally do for the effects through all of my tiers. So in the next episode, we will actually look at expanding upon that so that the effect will be triggered when we hit tier 1, and then we'll add another effect so that when we hit tier 2, that will also be added. And then from that point forward, it's simple enough to just add your own effects as you go up through the tiers. So in the next episode, we will expand upon this. But as I said, for now, that is all we have. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope that this has been useful and not too confusing. So I'd just like to give a quick shout out to my patrons. Thank you very much to Hot Apple Pie, Cody Bonds, Alexander, and Solarith Magnetar. Your continued support is very humbling. I'm Grey Tiger, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.